Here we are, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull. And things are continuing to go south ever since the Guardians lost on Saturday. Ever since the Guardians won on Saturday. Saturday was a great day. We talked about this already. On Saturday, the Guardians found a way to get it done, right? They took care of business in game one. They found a way by scoring 5 runs in the first inning. It was an unbelievable start to the series. An unbelievable start to the series. The Guardians getting 5 in the first and then ending up winning game one 7-0. Unfortunately, ever since they scored that 6th and 7th run, it's been an absolute disaster for all things in terms of Cleveland sports. We saw what happened with the Browns on Sunday, the Guardians with a terrible, brutal loss on Monday, and then once again, things go south. Apologize for the late start. Hopefully, we're coming through okay. We've had a little technical difficulties. I'm doing the show from a new location, so we're hoping for the best here. I apologize if some of the if the audio and video is not great today. Timing, what are you going to do? And hopefully it'll be corrected soon. If not today, by certainly the next time I'm on with you on Thursday. So many things to hash out about this game. So many things that I'm frustrated about. So many things that I'm sure you are all frustrated about. Let's start with what happened in the first inning of this game. Well, not the first inning of this. Well, yeah, really the first inning of the game. Because in the first inning, the Tigers started a right-handed pitcher. So because of that, because of them starting a right-handed pitcher, the Guardians went with their left-handed hitting lineup. They had Kyle Manzardo in the lineup, and they had Will Brennan in the lineup. After one inning, 4 pitches, the Guardians are out. No threat, obviously, in the first inning. In the second inning, the Tigers do what they do. We talked about this. I said for a couple of days in a row, the Tigers are going to use 1 million pitchers. They're not going to have anybody face batters twice, although their second guy, Herder, did actually face a couple of batters twice. But he still didn't go very long, and none of their pitchers went particularly long in this game. Herder went 3 1/3, as you see there, gave up 5 hits, and they had a couple of opportunities against him. But when they went to Herder, who's a lefty, Stephen Vogt decided in the second inning to make lineup changes already. He went to his right-handed hitters to face lefties. And I did not like this at all. I think this was too early in the game. It was a panic move. First of all, if you're Stephen Vogt, you've got to know that these things are going this way. You have to understand. Folks are asking why I'm not allowing super chats. We don't do super chats. I'm going to read the chats. I'm going to read a lot of your chats coming up. And again, I apologize for some of the technical difficulties here. Doing the best we can, and things should be fixed up hopefully by the next time I'm on with you. But anyway, so you pinch hit with your right-handers there, and I didn't like this for a number of reasons. One, it felt like a panic move. You know, the players may be pressing here a little bit. It did kind of seem like that as the day went along. And now you feel like, well, the manager's pressing here too. We're seeing A.J. Hinch take it to Stephen Vogt. I mean, there was no doubt about it when he had to know that Montero was not going to pitch very long. So if you know that Montero's not going to pitch very long, and you know, okay, there's a chance they could bring in a lefty next, which is very likely. Like, you have to know that if Montero is starting, that it's very likely they're going to go to a lefty next. So if you're Stephen Vogt, you either have to put in your lineup as if you're facing a lefty, or you can't pinch hit for the guys. In the first game, they had Tyler Holton. You knew he wasn't going to go long. I understand Montero's pitched more in a traditional starter's role in terms of innings than Tyler Holton, but still, he went with the lineup facing a lefty, even though Holton was only going to pitch 1 inning. He knew that, or 1 inning and change, and they didn't make any changes. Now, different circumstances, maybe they would have. It was 5-0 in that game, So no need to make any panic moves. And I understand the Guardians weren't going to score. And I got plenty of complaints about the players. I'm not just going to complain about the manager. But I thought it was a panic move to pinch hit in that situation so early. And I think it was, and you wasted, and the Tigers, you know that their key relievers, whether it's Brisky, whether it's Vest, like most of their key relief pitchers are righties. And so you're going to want to have, at some point, you're going to want to have Manzardo's bat available, Will Brennan's bat available. And because so Brennan didn't even get an at-bat in this game. You wasted him. Manzardo only had one at-bat, and then you pinch hit for him. And now David Fry, who has not hit the entire second half of the season, at least in the Brennan, John Kenzie, Noel situation, I kind of like John Kenzie more than I like Brennan, so I could live with that one. I still didn't like it. I still wouldn't have pinch hit in that situation early. But at least I kind of understood it a little because they were threatening in that early spot, and that's another thing we'll get to in a minute. And they I just like John Kenzie right now more than I like Will Brennan. However, the switch up in the Manzardo situation. Again, Edward says Bull Brennan's hitting 300 for the past month. I get it. I get that he's hitting 300 for the past month, and that's why I ultimately don't like it. But I can live with that more than the other one because of the situation. In the situation where you have David Fry pinch hitting, that was a totally different situation in the game. That I didn't understand at all. We know that David Fry's been terrible the second half of the season. We know that he's struggled against right-handed pitching in particular, really hasn't done anything for months and months. And so I just didn't understand those moves. I didn't think those moves made any sense. It was very frustrating. Now, in the end, nobody got any big hits. They had many opportunities to score in this game. And in fact, not they had a million hits, but they had 6 hits, more than the Tigers had. But the Tigers, every situation they were in, they were able to move the runners over and get them in. They had the clutch hits. The Guardians did not. Alex Cobb didn't pitch particularly well. But this is all about the offense. They've been shut out 2 games in a row. And I'm not going to kill them for, getting shut out in 7 innings by Tarek Skubal. But this game, there's just no excuse. And they had a number of opportunities. First of all, so let's go to the second inning here. First and second, nobody out. At this point, it's only a 1-0 game. By the way, once it went to 2, it felt like 10. I'm sure most of you felt the same way I did. I felt like at 2-0, it was it felt kind of over. Listen, I still think the Guardians can win this series. I know everybody's going to count them out. I get it. I know even if you do win Game 4, you got to face Skubal. I get it. I understand all that. The Tigers certainly can win this series. Right now, my World Series prediction for the Guardians looks terrible. This series is not over. I'm not going big picture disaster unless it actually gets to that point. For now, though, in the short term, the offense just abysmal. Let's look at some specific situations, though. I want to start with the second inning. Naylor and Thomas come through. First and second, nobody out. Andres Jimenez, we know this guy has really struggled to hit. Big time. So if I'm not a big sack bunter in general, in this situation, I was okay with Andres Jimenez sack bunting because he has struggled mightily to hit. So you want to move the runners over, and that would give a chance with, I thought, Brennan, but ended up being John Kenzie Noel. Hey, fly ball, you can get in a run. It's 1-0. You know it's going to be a low-scoring, tight game. I would have been, again, I'm usually anti sacrifice bunts, but I could have lived with it there. Here's the point. If you're going to do that, if you're Jimenez, you've got to get that bunt down. There's just no excuse for not getting that bunt down. It's completely ridiculous. And you get to the point where now it's 1 strike, and now he's swinging away, which I don't understand. And, of course, a totally unproductive at bat. Even if Andres Jimenez had maybe hit a deep fly ball to right, hit a ground ball to the right side of the field that was not a double play. Okay, at least it's a productive out, but there was none of that. There was no production in that out whatsoever. So now first and second, you're thinking maybe second and third, one out. John Kenzie Noel flies out. Naylor does go to third on that play. Bo Naylor had a good at bat. He battled, but in the end, he flies out, and they miss it. I mean, that's a golden opportunity. The Tigers had just scored on a 2-out hit. The Guardians at first and second, nobody out, and they just blow it. And that's been their MO for these last two games. Anytime, they haven't had a million chances, but when they've had chances, they have not been able to get a hit. And their offense has disappeared. The Guardians have set the record for the most consecutive scoreless innings in the postseason in the history of baseball, which is crazy. I didn't realize it was that low a number, but it is. Then in the third inning, Quan reaches. He's at second with one out. So you have another opportunity here, one inning later, after Cobb settled in, pitched a nice bottom of the second. You have a runner on second, one out. Now you got Fry up, hitting for Manzardo, which I hated there. That one, in that particular situation, I really hated that pinch hitting at bat. Fry, of course, predictably strikes out, even against the lefty. And now you know they're going to intentionally walk Jose, even though Jose can't get a clutch hit to save his life right now. They do. Josh Naylor grounds out, end of threat. The Tigers made it 2-0 the next inning on the sacrifice fly. And from then on, it felt like it was going to be a massive task to come back. And, of course, they did not. They did have a couple opportunities later in the fourth inning, 1, 2, 3. In the fifth, they threatened again, first and second, one out. And this was, to me, this felt like the last – once they blew that opportunity in the fifth inning, it felt for the first time, I felt like the Guardians were not going to win. I thought they were going to win game two the whole time. Obviously, once they were down 3-0 in the bottom of the ninth, I didn't. And I thought even though I was stressed at 2-0, I still thought they had a chance to come back. And when Quan's playing great, he's not getting much help, but Quan's playing great. He gets the base hit after Rocchio, who, again, I've been talking about. He's had some real nice at-bats. He singles with one out. They get runners at first and second with only one man out. I'm sorry, franchise record for scoreless innings, not major league record. Bad job out of me. For the Guardians, it wasn't a major league record. But they get first and second, one out in the fifth. This was their next best opportunity. And once again, David Fry, first and second, 2 outs when his first time up, strikes out. This time, of course, they bring in the righty. Herder, you knew Herder, they wouldn't let Herder face Fry or Ramirez, and that's exactly what happened. Herder was the pitcher that went the longest, and the first batter that Herder faced was Rocchio, so he did face Rocchio and Quan twice. I said nobody would pitch to more than 9 batters. I was wrong. Herder faced 11 batters, but that was it, and we'll probably see the same thing tomorrow. First and second, one out. Fry strikes out again. So he has an opportunity. And then it's down to Jose. One swing of the bat, you could give the team the lead. Nice double. With 2 outs, if he had just split a gap in those big gaps in Detroit, he would have tied the game, especially with Quan at first and his excellent speed. But Jose, who has really been a poor postseason performer, failed to come through again. He's taken a lot of bad swings in this series so far. He has only had 1 hit in the series, that ground ball to third that they changed to a hit. If you look at, so Jose is now, let's see, he was, what was he in this game? He was 0 for 4, right? Jose, 0 for, no, that's right. He was intentionally walked, 0 for 3. So Jose in this series is 1 for 9, and he is now 31 for 133 career in the postseason, which is a batting average of under 240, an on base under 300, and an OPS of about 630. I mean, that's really bad. Now, he's not the first great player to struggle in the postseason, but the Guardians need him. They don't have enough big-time hitters. If Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor, Stephen Kwan's doing his job, if Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor don't do theirs, they got no shot. That's the bottom line. I expected them to both play well, especially Jose, And that has not happened here. Jose's been lousy. Naylor hasn't done much. You need your best players to play well. And again, they haven't done it. Kudos again to Quan, had 3 of the 6 hits. Rocchio, Lane Thomas, Josh Naylor had the others, but it's not good enough. We went through the opportunities they had. They did have one more after, so Jose flies out to end the 5th. That felt like it. They did get one more chance. By the time they got their last chance, they were down 3-0 as Spencer Torkelson came through. And they just got a bunch of clutch hits in these last 2 games. Well, not a bunch, but they got enough. But in the 7th inning, the Guardians had one more chance. It was a 2-out opportunity. And with a good bat, he walks. Stephen Kwan again comes through with a single. The Tigers again pull out the lefty, bringing the righty, Will Vest, who's one of maybe their best reliever. And I'll say this. Now, the first 2 times, David Fry came up in a big spot 3 times. He failed all 3 times. However, I can't kill him for this. First 2 times he struck out. This at bat against Vest, he smoked the ball. Unfortunately, he it was right to Matt Vierling. He hit it hard. Vierling had to jump and make a play, but it was right to him, and he jumped up and at first glance I was like, oh, that's a great play. It was a good play, but that was it. And obviously after that, that 4th, they had 4 opportunities, 4 chances with runners in scoring position, and they didn't get a single hit. In fact, in the last 2 games, the Guardians have had 1 hit with a runner in scoring position. That was Stephen Kwan's single off Tarek Skubal in the 6th inning of Game 2, and that was the play where they held the runner at third, and they didn't score on that play. So 1 hit with runners in scoring position in the last 2 games. Only 2 since the first inning of Game 1. The only one that knocked in runs was Fry's double in the first game. And then in the 8th and 9th inning against Vest in the 8th and Tyler Holton, who they smacked around in the 9th, the Guardians go 1-2-3. So Fry's line out. That was it. After Quan singled to put 2 on and 2 out in the 7th, the last 7 Guardians go down, and that is it. And if the Guardians bats don't wake up soon, it's going to be over. I'm sure there's a lot of you right now saying it's already over. Forget it. The Browns can't score. The Guardians can't score. What's with offense in Cleveland? I understand the frustration. Beyond pissed off. I was throwing things on the couch today. I'm yelling and screaming. And so I feel your frustration. Look at that stat. Game 3 divisional winner takes 73% of the series. You know what that means? That means that 27% of the time, 1 out of 4, a little better than 1 out of 4, the other team wins. You got to take it 1 game at a time. I don't even want to think about I understand it feels like no chance right now. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's no chance. The Guardians have Tanner Bybee going in Game 4. Tanner Bybee's their ace. He pitched great in the first start. They have that advantage in Game 4. Now, again, if none of their hitters can get going, it's not going to matter. They've scored 5 runs in the first inning. They've scored 2 since. It's been, what is it? I think 19 straight innings without a run. I can't remember now. It doesn't even matter how many innings it's been. It's probably, I can't remember what inning they scored the 2 extra runs with Fry now in the first game. But whatever it is, it's really bad. And it can't go on this way. We could analyze it. We could blame the manager. And again, there's a lot of things to blame the manager for. Well, I don't know about a lot, but I mentioned the pitching, the lineup changes, the pitch hits that I didn't particularly care for. But in the end, the players have to play. They've got to do a good job. And not enough of these hitters have done anything. They've done an okay job of getting guys on base. They've had opportunities to score, but they have not been able to come through. They've missed 6-7 opportunities since the middle of the second game with runners in scoring position. They just have not had a big hit at all, really, since the first inning, because even David Fry's 2-run double, they were up 5-0. There's no pressure in that situation. So if the bats don't come around, Captain Obvious. The Guardians are going to lose the game tomorrow and lose this series. But I think they will rally and win tomorrow. And you want to say, who cares what you think? You thought they were going to win the World Series. You thought they were going to win today. You're right. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Predicting baseball's tough. And if you're a fan, you're just going to hope that I'm right. But I believe in Tanner Bybee tomorrow. I think he'll pitch well. It'll give them a chance. Hopefully, these Guardians bats will wake up. That's it. The game's at 6:08, so it's a later start tomorrow. It's in Detroit. Their crowd's going to be going bananas. They had a good crowd there today, obviously. It's the first time they've been in the playoffs in forever. Today was their first home game in the playoffs in over a decade. They're going to be into it. The Guardians have to be prepared. They have to score early. I think it's absolutely imperative that the Guardians get on the board first. Hopefully, they'll do the same thing that they did when Tanner Bybee pitched game one and get off to a good start, take the pressure off. One of the things here, all the relievers are going to be fresh. And because obviously, even if you do win, you're going to need to play a nearly perfect game to beat Tarek Skubal in Game 5. Let's get some reaction from the fans here. I know there's been a lot of. I think the connection's been a little better. I hope so. Let's see. Bet vetted. Let's face it. Andres Jimenez is an automatic out down 0-2, even try at bat was the same in 2022. Andres Jimenez, a lot of people got cocky about him. He had a great season in 2022. People say he's better than Francisco Lindor. He's not even close to Francisco Lindor. I mean, defensively, he's better. But I think I'd rather have the offense. Francisco Lindor is a great hitter who had a subpar season offensively in 2022. Andres Jimenez is a bad hitter who had a miraculous season in 2022. I can't explain it. He was an excellent hitter in 2022. He's never been an excellent hitter here besides that. He wasn't really with the Mets, so I don't know. Edward says, we definitely got outmanaged this series. Gabe says, Hinch runs circles around Vogt. That's true, 100%. No, I can't argue there. Brendan says, you need to trust your guys to come through. Fry is an inch away from making a game-changing hit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about an inch, because Vierling's pretty big, but yeah, they would have scored 2 runs there. They would have scored 2 runs, would have been a different game potentially, but it didn't happen. Baseball's a game of inches, right? Another inch, and Clase gives up a run in the 8th inning. We never have maybe that dramatic moment in the 9th. Hammerhead, get over it, Robert. He has a different opinion than you on the name change. Oh, yeah, Robert's upset that I was okay with making Robert's mad that I said it was time for the name change. I mean, obviously the logo had to change. I wasn't really, for years, I didn't think the name needed to be changed. What's the big deal? I mean, it's been enough years now. If you're still whining about it, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, just let it go at this point. Gabe says Manzardo should have never been taken out. Detroit used lefty relievers multiple times throughout the game. Eventually, the matchup will be there. I agree. And you either way, whether it's Manzardo or Fry, or whether it's Brennan or John Kenzie, either way, the Tigers are going to take advantage of the weakness of the guy. So the best thing to do is to save one side of that platoon, to save the extra side of that platoon, and use them in a key spot, not take away that option in the 2nd inning. That just didn't make any sense at all. Let's get more comments here. Brian, I have more confidence in Kyle than Fry. Who would have believed that at the halfway point of the year? H.C. Cummings, the Guardians will always come into the postseason with one hand tied behind their back with the 3rd lowest payroll. Hey, that's a bullshit excuse. That's complete crap. The Tigers payroll, the 26 guys on the Tigers roster. I don't want to hear about payroll. I'm with you on payroll. You know me. I get pissed off about the Guardians payroll all the time. But you can't talk about payroll here. The 26 guys that make up the Tigers roster for this series are making less than $1 million on average each. That's way lower than the Guardians. Jose Ramirez is making as roughly the same amount of money as every player on the Tigers roster combined. They have nobody. Tarek Skubal's probably the high. They have the only guys making a lot of money on the Tigers are Javi Baez, who's not playing, and Miguel Cabrera is still getting paid, and maybe some other guys. I don't know. I mean, nobody. Who's making the most money on the Tigers? Nobody's making any money. So I don't want to hear about payroll here. What's the Royals' payroll? They're 1-1 with the Yankees. I don't know who knows what's going to happen the rest of the way. But the Tigers have the only two players on the Tigers making more than, so Colt Keith, believe it or not, is the third highest paid player on the Tigers, making $2.83 million. Tarek Skubal's making $2.65 million. Those are the only two players on the active roster for the guard. Here we go. The Tigers have 3 players on their active roster, 3, that are making more than $766,000. 24 of their 26 guys, because I don't think Kenta Maeda is on the roster. So Javi Baez is making $25 million this year. He's not on the roster. Kenta Maeda is making $14 million. He's not on the roster. They have Cole Keith making $2.83. Tarek Skubal's only making $2.65 because he hasn't had arbitration yet. He will. Well, this might have been his first year of arbitration. Then they got a backup catcher who's not on the team and not even in the franchise anymore, making 2.1. And then their catcher, Jake Rogers, is making 1.7. They have a young player, Akil Badu, who's not on the roster. He's making 1.55. Casey Mize, 830. That's it. Everybody else. So I don't want to hear about payroll compared to the Tigers. Their payroll is nothing. It's probably the lowest combined, the lowest payroll of a 26-man roster, if you factor in inflation and the way baseball's gone, ever, compared to other teams' payrolls. So no, that's not an excuse. Not in this series, not at all. Yeah, and right now the Jimenez contract looks awful, Robert. You're right about that. Let's see. Gabe, on a true World Series team, Jimenez is hitting 9th. Now we're making now we're going a little too far. We're being nitpicky at this point. Evan's right. Jose needs to show the bleep up in Game 4. He's been terrible. He's got to show the fuck up. That's what he said. He's got to do it. You're right. Let's see. Robert, Hedges makes $4 million to be a cheerleader. I'd like to have that job. Wouldn't we all? That's basically what he is. T-Dank, bats are ice cold. Detroit, to me, isn't on the same wavelength as the Guards. We need to pick it the F up. Guardians is a better team, but the better team doesn't always win. Right now, the Tigers are playing better baseball. It's pretty simple. Edwards is terrible managing. You're right. Slim Shady said the picture looked pretty terrible. Hopefully it's gotten better. I've checked it from time to time. It looks like things are going pretty smoothly at the moment. Okay, Brendan Hofarce. I don't think Noel had bad at-bats. No, he didn't have terrible at-bats. Rocchio's been one of their better hitters. That's true. He's had some of the best at-bats in this series. John, Adam, I said the same thing about pinch hitting too early to give Brendan a try. He's a line drive hitter. Didn't like that at all. Brendan, you have to trust you guys. Fry was an all-star this season for a reason. Yeah, but he wasn't the second half of the year. He was an all-star because he had a great first half. Second half, he was terrible. He's not part of their best 9 in my mind right now. Paramount, when you have no bat other than Jose and Quan, nothing will happen. Well, and Jose hasn't done anything. In these series, when you only have a few the Tigers don't have any superstars, folks. We're not playing the Yankees with all these big names. We're not playing the Phillies or the Dodgers. This is the Tigers. The Tigers. Their highest paid hitter, I just told you, is Jake Rogers, who bats 8th bat. He's making $1.2 million. They have no big hitters. They have no superstars in their lineup. They've gotten more clutch hits. Robert says, Tiger fan here. Seems like AJ is dissecting the game flow and Vogt is having to answer the other way around. He is. He's reacting, not acting. I think that's a mistake. Let's see. It's 20 scoreless innings. Jarrett, Guzik, could things be any worse? If the Guardians lose tomorrow, yes, things could be worse. The Brown season is over. If the Guardians season ends tomorrow, it's a disaster. Because then we're talking draft, and I'm going to vomit if we have to do that too early. That would suck. Ahmed Kwan looks good. That's true. D. Yates, you and I, all of us knew this would happen. I don't know. I don't accept that. I thought the Guardians' offense was good. It was a better offense. Yes, they struggled at times, but overall their offense was good this year. It wasn't great, but they were 12th in home runs. I mean, that even when they made the playoffs 2 years ago, they weren't even close to that. There's no excuse for this. I don't want to hear. There's plenty of time to kill the owner for payroll. I've killed the Guardians owner 1,000,000 times for payroll. 1,000,000 times. And I will do it again when the season's over. But right now, I don't want to hear about payroll. This is not about payroll. This is about performance. The Guardians are good enough to win. The Tigers have a low payroll, and the Royals have a low payroll. This is not about payroll. 3 of the 4 finalists in the American League have low payrolls. Simon Lee, just a suggestion from over the pond. Rocchio and Kwan seem to be the only guys getting on base. Why not start Rocchio at leadoff? Yeah, they're not going to do that. He's hitting better, but let's not get too crazy. Tony, send both Nailers on the first bus out of Cleveland, and Paul Dolan, get the fuck out. Listen, Josh Naylor has had a good season. He's a flawed player. Nobody's given him a big contract. I'd be careful about an extension. He is not the type of player that's going to age well because of his weight and his playing style. He's terrible. Made another error in this game in the field. Not a good fielder, not a good base runner. It's unfortunate. Ahmed, we obviously need to be better. Baseball's a game of inches. It certainly is. I'm just not going to talk about the owner right now, guys. Again, there's plenty of time to kill the owner. It's just not right now. Bo Naylor is the worst player. I hate that dude. I don't know if you want to hate him. I don't know if that's necessary, but Bo Naylor's been a massive disappointment this year. Massive. Let's see. Bet Vet, it was an okay play, nothing too special. Yeah, the Vierling one, I assume you're talking about. Tommy, get rid of Bo, Freeman, Fry, Jimenez. I mean, you're not getting anything for those guys in trades. The Guardians, and this is where the front office is messed up. They had a lot of these top prospects. They had chances to move them in deals. They didn't, and they have no value. Obviously, Fry, you're not going to move Fry. Nobody's taking Jimenez's contract right now. It's terrible. Bo Naylor has no trade value. Tyler Freeman has no trade value. Gabriel Arias has no trade value. You've ruined all their trade value. Jared, I agree, man. I'm not saying I said the Vierling catch wasn't that big a deal. It was a nice play, but it wasn't like an amazing play. He jumped a little. John, thank you for taking your time during a move to do this, Bull. I appreciate you very much. I still believe they can pull this out. Yeah, thanks, John. God, I want this for you folks so bad. I want it for me too. I know it sounds silly. I want a long run for the Guardians. I love doing these post-game shows. I love doing the Ultimate Guardian show. I'm so into this team. You know, I've been this way all year. If they go out with a whimper, come on. You know what? As pissed off as we are now, as pissed off as we are Monday, if they rally back and win tomorrow and then somehow beat Scuba on Saturday, you know, it's good. If that happens, then it's going to feel like this. They can't lose. Things can change in a hurry, folks. It's not over. I'm telling you. If it ends tomorrow, I'll kill them. We'll yell, we'll scream. I'll call myself an idiot for saying they were going to win the World Series. It's not over yet. Don't give up. Yeah, that's right. T. Dywert. Yankees were down 2 against us in 2022. Oh, but they're the Yankees. Come on. Yes, plus Palace Life Kid. He says, Cleveland sports suck. They're always underperform. I don't agree with that. Yes, as a Cleveland sports fan, you've suffered. You've suffered more than any other fan base. But at least you've seen a championship in the last decade. That's a positive. The Guardians overachieved in 2016. I know they haven't won, but they've been to 3 World Series in the last 30 years. I know people don't want to hear that. Drama City, TV Cleveland. We got hope in Cleveland. It's not over, Slim Shaney. Want more Bull, Chris. Thank you. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you for I appreciate it. Thanks, LeBron. Yes, Carlos Jose's been disappointing. There's no doubt about it. This is a bummer. I know somebody said that they were mad at me for getting their hopes up, and hopefully the Guardians can rally and win. Zach and I will do the Ultimate Cleveland Guardians show tomorrow morning at 9. I'll be back on after the game tomorrow, win or lose. I will be back on tomorrow right here with Bet Rivers. Hopefully, if the connection was bad today, it'll be better. I haven't seen many complaints about it since early, so hopefully it handled pretty well. Thanks to Z and Max for producing today. Thanks to all of you. As always, I love the fact that you guys, win or lose, are with me. And let's get it done. It's not over. They can still do this. One game at a time. Take care of business with Tanner Bybee. Win the game. Come home. And then pull one out 1-0 against Tarek Skubal in Game 5. Thank you, Brendan. I appreciate it. Love you. Love all of you. Thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow. Again, 9 a.m., the Ultimate Guardian Show. And then after the game tomorrow, remember the game's 6:08 tomorrow. So probably 9:30 at some point tomorrow. I'll be back with you. I'll also be on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Where else but right here on the Bullpen. I was about to say something else. The Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. Make sure you are using the Bet Rivers app. Check it out. I'll put out a parlay. Maybe we'll do a same game parlay for tomorrow's game because the Guardians are going to win tomorrow. They're going to take care of business and they're going to get this series back to Cleveland. I feel it in my bones. It's got to be right. Let's go. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody.